Right, today I'm going to make a little video project, especially to upload to YouTube. Just a few little mad things around this town where I live, Birkenhead, that I don't think most people notice, you know. And because I'm so observant and that, I see things that most people don't notice, like strange stone masonry and things. This town's always had a reputation for being kind of, you know, prostitutes, junkies, stuff like that. It's basically known as, like, I suppose, it's like the spiritual Sodom of the Whittle, I suppose, you know. It's like, there's some doomy stuff and that, like, not what I'm into myself, personally. Like, I live in a block of flats, high rise. I'll just do a scan, like. See, that's my living room window. You can see over there all of Bidston Hill in the distance. And then this is my kitchen window, looking out the window. You can see all the church spires and things, you know. And over there is Birkenhead Park. That's the entrance. You just see over the top of that building there. Right. And that building there used to be the Laird School of Art. Right. That was basically like a kind of art college years ago, you know. People used to study art and you know, like get the degrees or whatever, yeah. Not sure what it is now. I'm going to go round today and film these things close up and stuff. And what's weird about these things, in this particular area, this is like downtown Birkenhead, like Birkenhead Park is obviously a very important place for like gatherings and stuff, you know, like, you know, it was the first park in the world apparently, first park. And Central Park in New York, you know, Babylon and all that, Statue of Liberty and everything. Central Park was meant to be modelled on Birkenhead Park, you know. But what people don't tell you about Birkenhead Park is that when it was built, you know, they were saying like, so there's trees and that for the locals to go and see, and ponds and all that business. But when it was actually built, and it was first, like, you know, it was brand new and it was a big deal, most poor folks didn't go there. It was like Victorians with parasols and, you know, horses and carriages and that kind of thing. It was, you know, and there was fences all around it and things. So if you were a kind of Oliver Twist kind of character or whatever, you'd probably be kicked out of there. You wouldn't be allowed to walk around there or something. You know, it was like private grounds for people who were connected to the Hoorays and the Hooray Emerys and stuff. You know, all the wealthy folks in Birkenhead, because it was quite a wealthy town. You know, camel hairs and things like that. A lot of business sprang up from Birkenhead that's, you know, kind of reached other parts of the world and stuff. So, as I say, Central Park was modelled on Birkenhead Park. One of the strangest things, like that art college I've just zoomed into, I'm hoping to do a full production here, you know, sort of link it all together later, like. Well, like that building in particular, the art college, the stonemasonry always seems to be altered in some strange way. You know, like things that don't really seem to like make any sense. And one of the things in particular, you can see it from here, like, is these weird cornerstones. There's cornerstones that have been added to it, and they weren't there years ago. I don't even remember when they put them there. I can't remember them being there years ago, and then all of a sudden they were there, you know what I mean, before I knew about it, like. But, you know, look at these structures. They're quite strange, and I've got like a picture what someone drew years ago. A local artist drew this, you know, the art college years ago as it looked in the 70s or something, and these things weren't on the building at the time, like. I'll zoom in. Now you can see them there on the corners. There's 4 of them, you know, 1 on each corner. 1, 2, 3, and the other one's out of sight there, yeah? And you zoom into them, you can see they're like spheres with a kind of flat oblong that goes like a square that's right in the middle of it, at the centre, you know, like what the equatorial sort of thing. Say if you would imagine they were like globes, and the equatorial plane kind of thing, there's like big square in the middle of it. It's a most unusual structure, you know what I mean? It's like a sphere with squares in the middle. Like, I'll go closer in a minute. I'm going to go out like an, you know, so you can get a gist of what I'm saying, like. You see those, you know, they look quite bizarre, and they were obviously added recently, you know. I'm not sure how recent, you know what I mean, but they weren't there in the 70s when a local artist drew the building, let's put it that way. So I'll put my pause on, I'll go out to the actual area. I just want to point a few little strange things out in this town, you know. What most of the poor folks like myself and that don't notice. They're not really interested, you know what I mean? We're all blinded, you see, remember, from these kind of things, these stone masonry things, you know. We don't really notice them, you know. As you can see, Birkenhead Park entrance, it looks like a Napoleonic or even a Roman temple, basically. You know, because I'm up on the 11th floor, like, you can see it from the, you know, from above. And you can see it's got columns and stuff, yeah, like Roman style, Greek style. And there's the keystone there over the arch. Some laurel crowns there, you know, laurels either side. Classical Roman design. These weird oblongs either side of the date stone. That's the date stone there. It tells you what year it was built. Yeah, you see these weird oblongs at either side. These rectangles. You know, the Masonic shapes and forms in the building, like. Well, I'm going to look like a madman today. I'm going to be going around with my video camera, talking to the camera and stuff, like, so you'll have to bear with me and that, like. Well, I've just showed you those strange things on the art college, which look like Saturns, you know, Saturn, the planet Saturn, you know, like a sphere with rings in the middle. They're like stone versions of Saturn, and there's 4 of them, so they're Saturns, aren't they? Saturns, Satans, Saturns, you know, on the cornerstones, like. I mean, you know, you can watch this video, sort of go backwards and forwards and check these things, you know, to see what I'm talking about, basically. I'll put the pause on anyway, and I'll get my coat on and go outside and start, like, showing you some of the strange things about the town that I know are partly responsible for, like, keeping the poor folks down, I suppose, you know, like a divide. Okay, I'm standing at the gate of the art school, the old art school. Looking like a right nutcase with my video camera. People going to be going past, so I'll have to sort of kind of clam up whenever they go past, like. You see? can see at the doors, two silly statues in the style of Ephesian Roman architecture. There's the clock, and I'll stand back. See, that's the strange things on the corners. They look like satins. And we got all these horrible cherubs. You know, like cherubs building everything and stuff. Like, see, it's all kind of very classical Roman architecture. Like, the building's now called the British East India Company Limited. Everyone's giving me weird looks when they go past. Now, what I've got to do now is kind of go over the road. Well, one of the weirdest things about this building is the fence posts at the gate, which is right behind me here. As you can see, they haven't had the tops knocked off them, they've had the bottoms knocked off them. So they used to be higher, they used to be up there. Oh. And for some unknown reason, the local stonemasons, I'll stand back so you can have a good look, like, you see they've been chopped down from the bottom upwards, like, and as years have gone by, they've gone smaller and smaller. They used to be, you know, it's like someone's always constantly trying to alter something or erase something, yeah. Okay, I'll just go over the road now, sit down on the bench. Okay, I'm over the road, looking across at the art school, as you can see. That's the building there, there's the gate posts. Strangely chopped down and that. And here is the actual park entrance, you see. Here's the keystone. See the keystone there? In the archway, the main gate. They always keep that locked, by the way. Right? I feel like a madman here, you know what I mean? But I've got to like kind of... You see the archstone here? There's the date stone up there. 1847 it was built. See, oh, it's Roman, classical Roman Greek style. And if you follow the keystone and look directly along the path, the main path into the entrance, you zoom in there, you've got an obelisk that looks like an Egyptian obelisk. It looks like Cleopatra's needle, right? That's right down there in the distance. I'll go inside now. Okay, I'm sort of between, I'm inside the park now, looking back at the park entrance. I'm sort of in the middle. There's the road leading up, the main entrance, and it goes... See that? And it's got a pyramid on the top. Right? I'll stop filming again, just so you get an idea of the layout. I'll stop filming now and I'll go right up to the obelisk. Do a close-up of that to give you an idea of how high it is. Okay, I'm standing right by the obelisk. There it is behind me. You see it's quite high, it's about, say 20 foot, 20 feet high, I'm not sure. My bike's, there's my bike there, you can get an idea of how large it is, and it's very typically Egyptian looking, if you know, very Babylonian like. Looking back towards the entrance, there's your keystone. This is the obelisk, you see, you can sort of, you know, you can walk around it, walk up to it and so forth. And what's written on the obelisk, it says, erected by public subscription to the memory of the late John Somerville Jackson. I can't even read that, like. I don't even know who he is. But it's not a grave, or you know, it says he died 8th of June 1860. Right? But you can clearly see it's made of, you know, pink granite, pinky sort of grey granite, you know, the Egyptians' favourite stone. It's got these little deltas on it, and there used to be fountains here. See, there used to be fountains, on, you know, like bowls on the side. They've been vandalised, they've been smashed off slowly. I wish someone would come and smash the whole thing down, you know, but... Alright, you can see, on the other side, same thing. Used to be fountain there, used to be water there. you know, water used to actually spring from it. It was like a little fountain, you know. Just go behind it so you can see the air. See it, you know, see the entrance in the distance, and it's like like that, right in the middle. You know, smack bang wall up in the middle. And up there we see the dreaded pyramid, the highest point, yeah? Probably all the rich folks of Birkenhead, or anyone who's well-to-do or whatever, probably, you know, lives in that somewhere, you know, if you know what I'm saying. Right, and the point of this video, message, I'll just stand so I've got like this stuff the back of my head, like, you know. Well, the point I'm making in this particular video, why I've decided to go around and film these things, is, in my opinion, an obelisk is like to a stonemason, or to the people in the know, you know, master masons and so on, or pharaohs and things like that. They're elevators, you know what I mean? They're like cosmic elevators. They're like stargates, and they're elevators. And if you're a poor person or one of the degenerates or whatever, you'd be right down at the bottom. You know, we'd be down here. You know, when I me video of Babylon where I say, you know, bum. The bums are down on the ground level, like the lowest levels, which is down here, you know, where my feet are. You know, all the bums will be on the lowest levels, and they're right up at the top. You know, at the top of the elevator, they'll probably be all like, you know, the well-to-do folks, like all the nicer properties in town, or, you know, they're like the sort of mansion houses and that kind of thing. And obviously, right at the pinnacle, at the top, you'd have, like, you know, like just like Washington, just like Egypt, just like the Vatican. You know, the highest point would be reserved who they would regard as holy, or, you know, a king or a queen or that kind of thing. Yeah. So I sound like a madman, don't I? I'm saying to you guys, it's an elevator, right? You all know that, you know, how can it be an elevator? There's nothing inside it, it's solid, there's no air pockets or whatever. Well, I've said in my earlier videos, these guys know how to move around in stone, using magic and things, right? And this town, man, honestly, this town, you know, I've said on one of my videos that wherever there's an obelisk placed, there's always some kind of deprivation, poverty, prostitution, drugs problems, rapes, murders. You know, there's always a high crime rate and things like that. And Birkenhead is famous for, you know, a lot of mad things, you know what I mean? It's, you know, the poor folks get a hard time, like, but there's a lot of deprivation here, you know what I mean? It's getting worse lately because of all these cuts and all this kind of thing. It's getting worse, you know, they're going back to kind of the Middle Ages. But like I say, this park, when it was first built, you couldn't walk around here dressed as like Oliver Twist and stuff. You'd be like kind of arrested or something, or kicked out or something. It was set aside as, like, you know, because the posh folks, while they were building all the mansions in town and setting up the businesses and everything, they wanted somewhere nice to walk around rather than walk around amongst the squalor. So they built the park especially for them. And if you look at early paintings and illustrations of this park, like I say, it's always like Victorian people, you know, carrying parasols and wearing big hats and fancy dresses and top hats and stuff, and horses and carriages and things, you know, like, no poor people are in the pictures or nothing, you know what I mean? And then as the years went by, they started letting the public in and things, you know. But if you think that I'm imagining it, that this is an elevator, you know, I'm going to now shift to another place in Birkenhead, which isn't as old as this, you know, 1800s or whatever. was built recently, you know, in the last 20 years or so, like a modern, what we'd call a modern building, you know, in town and near the shopping centre and stuff. And I'm going to film a building that was built there and show you some uncanny sort of truths, basically, within the architecture. That these things, you know, with pyramids on top and, you know, with the whole column beneath, there's an elevator there, you know what I mean? And if you don't do what you're told, you're kept at the lowest level, you know what I mean? You can't find work and so forth. If you do as you're told, you get closer to the pyramid, you go to the top shop. Remember my video, top shop? Oh, you do everything as they tell you. You're in top shop, you know what I mean? And you'll get a job and all this kind of stuff and everything becomes easy, you know. So I'm just going to put the pause on now and go to another building and show you what I'm talking about regarding pyramids and structures. So, okay, before I leave the park, I'm back in the middle, you can see. There's the obelisk there. Straight road. Back to there. Right. Now I'm going to try and explain by you see, attached to this building here, on either side, are kind of living quarters. You see, there's like a house there and a house there. Now that's where the gate wardens used to live. You know, in the 1800s when it was first built. The gate wardens used to live there, you know what I mean? So they were private quarters, and obviously they were like quite hoity-toity, you know. They wouldn't have been like common folk, would they? And if I'm going to try and explain how the Masons work with, you know, what appears to be solid stone is a kind of temple or a gateway, yeah? Well, you see the way those two oblongs, you know, the living quarters, are mimicked in the masonry. In those two oblongs there, you see, one there and one there. Remember me zooming into them from my kitchen window from above, you know, because I live on the 11th floor. I can see above that, can't I? I'm looking down on it, and you can see they're just like flat surfaces with no windows or anything. You know, there's no. It'd all be solid inside. There may be some hollow points in the middle of it all. There might be some air pockets inside it, yeah. But you can see that they are basically a mimicry. There's an elevator there, if you know what I'm saying. Columns. Go right up to them. Right? But those living quarters, what people can sit in, you know, they've got actual rooms and, you know, people be sitting down at tables or whatever, or on armchairs and whatever. So they kind of like, if you were in there, comfortable, and you were part of the scheme and that, by being inside them, the living quarters, you'd kind of go through the elevator, through the Masonic, like, gateway, into those things there. You see the way it's structured? See? Those two are them two. Even though there's no windows there and no doors, you know, through the Masonic gateway, it's very difficult to explain. But these things are all designed not to be worked out by outsiders. People like myself and the poor folks aren't meant to suss these things out, you know what I mean? So we've got an elevator there, which is sort of directly lined up to the keystone. And there's elevators there. You see? Right? I think they're offices now. I'm not sure. No one actually lives there now, you know, some kind of offices there or whatever. But do you understand what I'm saying when I say elevators? And it's you know, of course the people would have to shrink, wouldn't they, to reach the proportion from going from that to that. you would obviously have to shrink. And this is why it's so confusing to people, and why it's not meant to be worked out, because, you know, someone would say, well, that's a completely different size and scale to the living quarters. The Masonic area is a completely different size and scale. Likewise, to be inside the pyramid on the obelisk, obelisk over there, you'd have to shrink. Obviously, I couldn't stand upright in the pyramid, because it's only like, so what, 10 inches high at the pyramid, or something, 10 to 20 inches high. So a man would have to be like microscopic, wouldn't he? They'd have to be, you know, shrink like an action man, or a toy soldier or something, yeah. And if you went from the living quarters of the you know, the archway there, you'd have to shrink, wouldn't you? You'd become like, instead of being, I'm 5'8" now, like, you know, 5'9" or something. But to actually be in proportion with the Masonic scale, I'd have to be like 2 foot high, wouldn't I? Like a little sort of midget, you know, like a like a miniature. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anyway, I'll go on now to this building in town that I'm trying to show you, and I'll just put the pause on. Okay, that's the building I'm talking about. Europa House in Birkenhead. It's I did a course there once, so I've been inside it. So I was on an IT course there, like, so I know what's inside and the way it's, you know, designed and everything. And as you can see by the masonry and the structures and everything, there's quite a bit of a kind of mix-up of a variety of things. As you can see, there's columns, crosses and pyramids all combined in one building, like Babylon mixed. See, there's the columns at the door. Pyramids. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very odd building, isn't it? Right, and if you look at the windows, so you got like sort of Rome, Egypt and Christianity kind of rolled into one. See, on this side of the building, right. Now I'll just go over and sit down over there where there's a bench. I'm actually standing on Conway Street in Birkenhead. This road, if you follow this road right down there, it leads to Birkenhead Park, right, where the park entrance is. You see all the shops and everything. Dodgy building, that's a bingo there, a bingo called Mecca. So we've got Islam, you know, like a connotations to it. I mean, it's a bingo, for crying out loud. People go there to gamble, and on the roof of the bingo there's this ball. It's like beach ball on the top, like this ball of air, like this football. Right, Right, look back towards that building. That's the bus station there, Birkenhead bus station. Right. That's a pigeon. See the pigeon? Okay, I'll go over there to the bench because I feel like a right mad sod here, you know, standing here with a camera. Okay, that was where I was standing before. Standing just there. That's, see the bus station. There's Mecca there. Mecca, where everyone goes to pray to the bingo cards. Nothing to do with anything, you know, significant like. Looking up now. See, I'm at the side of this building. There's the doorways there, like that's the corner where the doorway is. And there's the there's two of the pyramids there. The two are on the other side, obviously. See the cross windows. Business school. Okay. Now, I've been inside that building. I went to a course there and did an IT course to get my ECDL qualification, the European Computer Driver's License. Didn't get a job at the end of it or anything, you know what I mean? Just you know, just arses on seats, do the course, and you're back on the dole, back on the social security. Right, you can see by the other door there, this is the side door. More columns. That was where I used to go in, actually. Right, now, and the point I want to make about this particular building is these where the pyramids are. You know, I was wondering, like, oh, you know, obviously they're hollow at the top. They'll have a loft, like a little loft area underneath, you know what I mean? Like, you know, someone could actually sit underneath there, couldn't they, if they wanted to, really? But by being inside the building, I found out that this, you know, if you imagine the obelisk I showed you earlier on, you know, is that not an obelisk kind of built into the masonry? But where those pyramids are, beneath the pyramids are elevator shafts. You know, when you go in the building and you want to go to the second floor or the third floor, there's only 3 floors if I remember correctly. Ground, first and second. And that's where the lifts are. Where the pyramids are. Directly underneath are the lift shafts. So they've actually built elevators in directly beneath the pyramids. Some people say the pyramids in Egypt, there's elevator shafts beneath them, you know, some kind of chasms that go down, right down to the earth, you know, right down to the lower levels of Hades or stuff like that, yeah. So that's what I'm basically saying about Birkenhead, and in particular, you know, because that's where I live, you know, I live in Birkenhead, and all around us there's these flipping structures popping up in the masonry and stuff, and there's still no jobs, and still no, you know, and it's a bit of a boom town because it's not so far from Liverpool, you know, and they're going to be building all these mad things in the docks and stuff where there's going to be, like, you know, Arabian businessmen and multi-millionaires and stuff like that all going there, you know, like probably be like Monte Carlo in 10 years time, I don't know. Well, it's obviously like everything's kept aside for the rich, isn't it? All roads lead to Rome and whatever, you know. So I don't know of anyone out there who, you know, lives in Birkenhead or, you know, from the Wirral or Merseyside sees this and Has ever realised that there's lifts under them pyramids in that building, like elevators? The elevator shaft. So what does that tell you about obelisks and things, and the way they think and the way they structure things? I don't know. Am I talking to myself? I don't know. Anyway, it's quite cold today. It's freezing actually, even though the sun's shining. So I'm going to get back to my flat on my trusty steed. On my trusty steed. And edit the video and get it uploaded to YouTube and see what people think. I want you to tell me what you think and any similar things in your towns and that kind of stuff. You can see by the clues in your town what's going on all around you. History around you. So anyway, thanks for watching. I know I seem like a madman saying these things, but I know what's going on. I can't explain it, I can't put it into words and say everything, because I don't want people out there who are like, you know, just spies on YouTube and that kind of stuff to kind of psych me out and realise what I have sussed out completely and utterly, the big picture, like, you know. It'd be above most people's heads, really. But anyway, thanks for watching, and better get back and have something to drink, and a nice warm drink. See you later. See you around like a donut. Brucey Williams, Birkenhead.